students, welcome to JMZ Learning. So today we are going to learn about verbs in French. So today's French lesson is on verbs. Okay. Have you all learnt about verbs before? I don't think so, because in your earlier syllabuses this was not included. So this is a very new lesson for you all. So please be attentive when I am teaching. Okay. For verbs in French, what do you say? Les verbes. Les verbes. Now in English, why do you use verbs? Why verbs are used in English language? Yes, to express something that is happening. Okay, something you are doing. Okay. So in French also it's the same. The verbs are used to express something you are doing. Okay, something that is happening. But unlike in English, in French there are three types of verbs, which are ER verbs, IR verbs, RE verbs. So these are the three types or three groups of verbs in French. ER verbs, what are ER verbs? The verbs that end with the letters ER. So parler and donner, parler and donner, and much more. There are many more verbs which end with ER, right? So I have only taken two verbs as examples. So parler verb, which means to speak, is an ER verb because it ends with ER. Donner, which means to give, ends with ER, therefore it belongs to the category of ER verbs. Okay. And the next type of verbs are IR. Okay. So here I have taken two verbs as examples. Finir, which means to finish, it ends with IR, and choisir, which means to choose, which ends with IR. Okay. And then finally the third group of verbs are RE verbs. Okay. Verbs which ends with RE. Okay. Attendre, which means to wait, ends with RE, therefore it belongs to the group of RE verbs. And prendre, which means to take, which belongs to RE verbs category because it ends with RE. So it's very simple to categorize all the verbs into these three categories. Just you have to see the last two letters of each verb just to categorize them, right? Okay, so there are three main types of verbs in French language. They are ER, IR and RE verbs. So what are ER verbs? The verbs that end with ER. What are IR verbs? The verbs that end with IR. And what are RE verbs? The verbs that end with RE. I hope you all got this part. Okay, so please copy this down, and next we will be learning how to conjugate them into according to the particular subject pronouns. Okay, so now I hope you all have finished copying down the three categories of French verbs. Okay, so now we are going to learn the ER verb conjugation. The ER verb conjugation. Okay. So when it comes to ER verb conjugations, right, you take the particular verb and cut off the ER. So now we are going to take the verb donner, okay, which means to give. And then now what have we got to do? You have to cut off ER. ER. Okay. And then let's write down the subject pronouns given here. So here J apostrophe, I have given J apostrophe. In case the verb starts with a vowel, okay, then you have to use J apostrophe instead of je. Okay. Then now since the verb doesn't start with a vowel, I am going to put je. And then now we only have DONN, don. This is all which is left for us because we have already cut off ER. And then what have you got to add? You have to add an extra E there. Okay. So, Jadon means I give. Okay. And then Tiu. Don. What do you add here? You have to add ES, which means you give. Okay. And then il or L. What do you add? An extra E. Nu. What do you add there? Tonnons. And then Wu. Tonnez. Right? And then finally il Donn, you have to add ENT. Okay. So this is how you conjugate ER verbs. So when an ER verb comes with sh, you have to remove ER and add E. When it comes with tu, you have to remove ER and add ES. So when il and L comes, you have to remove ER and add an E. When it comes with nu, you have to remove ER and add ONS. When it comes to Wu, you have to remove ER and add EZ. And then when it comes to il or L, you have to add ER and you have to remove ER and add ENT. Okay. So he or she gives. Okay. We give. You give. They give. Okay. So now here you have two U's. What is the difference between these two U's? What is the difference? Here Tiu is used in singular situations. That means if you want to say you for only just one person, then you are going to say Tiu. Or if you are talking to someone who is very close to you, who you should not definitely respect, someone who is very younger than you, or maybe someone who is very friendly with you, right? When you want to say you for a person like that, so that belongs to informal speech, right? Then you can use Tiu. So in informal speech as well as singular speech, you have to use Tiu with the meaning of you. Wu is used when you want to say you for two or more people. When you want to say you for two or more people, right? Or else if you want to say you for a person you respect a lot, like if you can take a teacher or or a stranger or your parents or whoever you have to respect, if you want to say you for them, then you have to use Wu. So you use it in plural speech as well as formal speech. Okay, did you all understand? Right. So here il, el both means they, but il is used when you want to say they for a set of males or masculines, and el is used to say they when you want to say for a set of feminines or girls, right? Okay. So these are the parts you have to remember in the subject pronouns part. So je is you, je means I, tu means you in singular or informal form, il means he, elle means she, nous means we, vous means you in the plural form or formal form, and then il and elle means they. Il is used to say they for masculines, elle is used to say they for feminines. Okay. So did you all understand this part, how to conjugate donné verb? Okay. So please copy this down into your writing books. Okay. Now you all have already conjugated the donné verb. I taught you all how to conjugate the donné verb. So now you have to conjugate the parler verb, which means to speak. Okay. So which you will be first of all removing er, so then je parle, and then you add a e, which means I speak. Okay, and tu parle, il, elle parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, il, elle parlent. Okay, did you all understand? Just like the donné verb, you remove er and add the endings according to the given subject pronouns. That's it. Okay, and then for homework I'll be giving you all to conjugate the verb aimer. Okay, which means to like. Okay, the same way you have to remove er and add the relevant endings. Okay, right. So copy this down as well, parler verb. So now you have already learned the conjugation of er verbs according to the relevant subject pronouns, right? Now we are going to learn the IR verb conjugation. So here you take the IR verb, right, and remove the IR which is at the end of the verb and add with je you add IS, with you again add IS, with il and elle you add IT, and then with nous you add ISS ONS, and with vous ISS EZ, and then with il and elle ISS ENT. Okay, so now you have the verb finir, which means to finish. So here we have removed IR, okay, and then because it came with je fini you add IS, tu fini you add IS, il elle fini you add IT, nous finissons you add ISS ONS, vous finissez you add ISS EZ, il elle finissant you add ISS ENT, right? I hope you all understood that part, right? So according to the relevant ending you add the relevant subject pronoun, you add the relevant ending, you remove the last IR and you add the relevant ending, and it is just the same way as you did the ER verbs. Okay, so now I want you all to copy this down in your writing books, and then for homework, so today's homework, the second homework for today is you have to conjugate the verb choisir just in this way with the meanings. Okay, You have to write the meanings as well. Shwazir means to choose. You have to conjugate this in the same way. So, you have to remove IR and add the relevant endings for the relevant subject pronouns. Did you all understand that part? Right. Okay. Then copy down this note. So, now we have already studied how to conjugate ER verbs as well as IR verbs according to the subject pronoun, and now we are going to learn how to conjugate RE verbs according to the relevant subject pronoun. Okay. So, RE verbs are verbs that end with RE. So, how do you conjugate them? You remove RE and then when it comes with J, you add S, T, you add S, Il and L, you add nothing, you don't add anything, that's why I have kept blank here. Nu, you add ONS, Vu, you add EZ, Il, L, you add ENT, okay. Right, so here I have taken the verb attendre, which means to wait, okay. So here I have removed RE and with J, here J apostrophe because it starts with a vowel. So J apostrophe attend, j'attends, okay. So you add an S there because it comes with J. Tu attends, you add an S there because it comes with tu. Il or elle attend, you add nothing there, you just keep the verb as it is, the base form of the verb as it is, okay. Nous attendons, oh, you add ONS because there is nous. Vous attendez, you add EZ because there is vous, and then il, elle attendons. Once again, attendre, j'attends, tu attends, il or elle attend, nous attendons, vous attendez, and il, elle attendons, right? So, this is how you conjugate RE verbs. So, for homework, I want you all to conjugate the verb prendre, which means to take, right? So, now you have 3 homeworks for the day, right? To conjugate the aimer verb, and then to conjugate the choisir verb, and then to conjugate the prendre verb. So, all these 3 verbs are in different categories, right? So, now you all know how to, finally by the end of the lesson, now you all have the idea of the verbs in French, the categories of verbs in French, and then how to conjugate them according to their subject pronouns, right? So, now for today you all have learned a lot about verbs, right? So, from the next day onwards we are going to learn how to create sentences using verbs, right? Why we conjugate these verbs, okay? So, for today I want you all to study the different conjugations of the verbs, that means the conjugations of ER verbs, IR verbs and RE verbs. So, now let us end the lesson. Have a very nice day and study well.